Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-1 of May-June 2013 of O-Level Math. So let's move on to question number 1. So solve this equation. Solving means to find the value of x. So first thing first, we have to expand the brackets. You will have 4x minus 8 equal to 7 minus x. Now we have to send x on one side and the constants to one side. So 4x plus 1x, that will be 5x. 7 plus 8, that will be 15. X will be 15 divided by 5, that will be 3. Now for part B, we have to solve the simultaneous equation. So here we have 2x plus y equal to 7, 4x minus 3y equal to 19. So in this one, we can make y the subject of formula. So y will be equal to 7 minus 2x. Next step is we have to replace y in this y. So you will have we have 4x minus 3y will be 7 minus 2x equal to 19. So now we can just expand. Let's see what we have. So we have 4x minus 21 plus 6x equal to 19. So 4x plus 6, that will be 10x equal to 19 plus 21. So 19 plus 21 will be 40. So x will be 40 divided by 10. That will be 4. That is your value of x. Now for your y value, just replace x back. You will have 2 times 4. That will be 7 minus 8. That will be minus 1. So for x will be 4 and y will be minus 1. Now for part C, you write down the integer values satisfying this. So n is between minus 1, 0, 1, and 2. So including minus 1 but not 2. So the values will be this, this, and this, but not 2. So minus 1, 0, and 1. Now for part 2, solve this equation to find the value of y. So y minus 3y will be less than 8 minus 2. Minus 3y will be less than 6. So y will be more than minus 2. So when you divide by negative, the sign changes. Y will be more than minus 2. That is part 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. It says the interior of the interior angle of a regular polygon is 165. How many sides does the polygon has? So let's call the number of sides n, but how do you find the interior angle? You have to do n minus 2 times 180. This is the sum of all the angles. Now to find one of the angle, have to divide by number of side. That will be 165. So now we have to solve for the value of n. So let's cross multiply. You will have n minus 2, 180 equal to 165n. So let's see what ratio do we have between those two. So 165 over 180, that should be 11, 12. So that will be 12, and that will be 11n. Expand the brackets, you will have 12n minus 24 equal to 11n. We send this one over here, you will have 12n minus 11n equal to 24. So n equal to 24. N is number of sides, will be 24 sides. Okay, now for part B, we have this shape. We have these two lines as parallel to each other. It says FAECG. This one is a straight line. And ADB is also a straight line. Okay. Now what else do we need to know? We know this. DE and is parallel to BC. So these two are in the same direction. Now part 1, FAD is P, AED is Q. Now find an expression in terms of P and Q for part 1, BCG. BCG. So I have to find this one. So how would you find this angle? So pretty easy. Since these two are parallel, it means that this angle is equal to this. This is also Q. So this will be 180 minus Q. So BCG will be 180 minus Q. Now for part B, DBC. So DBC. So we have to find this angle. Now if you observe, if this is Q, and what is this one? This is P. This will be 180 minus P. So we have a big triangle ABC. We have this angle, this angle. This will be 180 minus the other one, minus 180 minus P plus Q. That will become 180 minus 180 plus P minus Q. So this will go away. So your angle will be P minus Q. Angle A, so DBC will be P minus Q. Now for part 2 is we have AE as 7. So these sides are, now let's label the sides. AE as 7, this is 7. EC as 3, EC as 3, okay. DE as 5.6. And we have DB as 2.1. Okay, what is the question now? It says find the length of BC. So where's BC? BC will be this one. Okay, so to find BC, let's see what can we use. We can use similar triangles because this small triangle is similar with this big triangle. Okay. So this angle is here. So for this small triangle, ADE, we have this angle is directly opposite to this side. Let's say 7 over, and for this big one, we have this one is opposite to this side, which is 7 plus 3, that will be 10. It is equal to the small one. We have to find this side. So this is the angle. That will be 5.6 over BC. So let's solve to find the value of BC. So let's write this down here. We have 7 over 10 is equal to 5.6 over BC. So BC will be 5.6 times 10 over 7. That will be 8. BC will be 8. Let's write this down. BC is 8 centimeters. Now for next one, we have to find AD. AD will be this side. Let's call this one X. As you observe, AD will be opposite this angle, right? So let's form an equation. So for this side X over this angle, that will be X plus 2.1 is equal to, let's use the same, that will be 7 over 10, the same ratios. Let's find the value of X. So here you have this equation. So X over X plus 2.1 equal to 7 over 10. If you were to cross multiply, you will have 10x equal to 7x plus. So what is 2.1 times 7? That will be 14.7. Now we send this one over here. You will have 3x equal to 14.7. That will be 4.9. X will be 4.9. As you have seen here, X is your value of AD. This is 4.9 centimeters. And that is your question number 2, I think. No, that is part B. Now let's move on to part C. No, so sorry, part 3. Question number 3 is here. So this is a new question, question number 3. The diagram shows parallelograms made from small triangles. Okay. Now this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 is given to you. Now complete the table below. So here we have 1, we have 2, 2, 2, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4, 3, we have 6, 4, we have 8. So if you observe, we are multiplying by 2, 2, 2, 2, so that will be 10, and that will be 12. If you can count as well, let's say 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, so 10. So it is exact. So just to recap, we are just multiplying by 2, by 2, by 2, 4 times 2, 5 times 2, and 6 times 2 to find those two values. Now for part 2 is finding expressions in terms of n for the number of small triangles used to make m. Pretty easy. if you were to write m here, to obtain this times 2, that will be 2m. So this will be 2m as your answer. Now for part B, the diagram shows triangles made from same small triangles. Okay, so again, same thing here, we have to count and fill out the table. So for 1 we have 1, for 2 we have 2, for 3 we have 9, 4 we have 16. But if you observe, here it is the square of the numbers. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square is 16, that will be 5 square, that will be 25, and 6 square will be 36. This will be your two values for the table. Now part 2 is find the expression in terms of n for this. So if you had n here, that will be n square, right? So n square will be your expression. Now part Q is triangle Q is made from this much, find Q. So we have Q square will be 324, find the value of Q, will be 324. It will be 18. Q will be 18 for the triangle Q. That will be part A. Let's move on to part C of the same question. It says the diagram shows trapezium made from the same small triangle. Trapeziums. Okay, as you can see here. So part 1, by comparing the diagrams with those in part 1 and B, A and B, okay, find an expression in terms of T for the number of small triangles used to make trapezium T. So for this one, trapezium T. So we have to compare looking at the main diagrams. So if you have to look at this and look at this, right? So let's see what's happening here. So basically what's happening is, for number 1, we have 3 triangles. As you can see, number 1 we have 2 triangles, and here we have 1 triangle, and here we have 3 triangles. So logically what's happening is, for number 1 we are adding this with this to get 3 triangles. Now let's check for number 2. Number 2 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so for this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and for this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 plus 4, these 2 plus, that will become this. So basically what's happening is, we are just adding those two. So answer part 1, we're adding to part B to get the part C. So the expression for T will be just, in terms of T, that will be what? So how can you write this down? Let's write down the table. Let's see what do we have. So T will be 2T. So we have 2m here. That will be 2T. Sorry, we have to write this one. So let's write down. This will be, instead of m, write 2T plus T square. That will be your expression in terms of T for the number of triangles in each of them. So this is from the first answer, and this is from the part B answer. So this will be T square plus 2T as your expression of the number of triangles in each of the diagram. Now for part 2, how many small triangles are used to make trapezium 25? So same steps. So now we have, this is n is T square plus 2T. So term 25, diagram 25 will be 25 square plus 2 times 25. That will be 675 as your answer. So just to recap, from here we have observed that this diagram, these shapes were made from shape of A and shape of B. They were made by adding those two, right? And we see that from A, for the term m, it gives you 2m, and for part B, for the term n, it gives you n squared. So by adding those two, we get the number of triangles in each of those diagrams. So now here we have to use T. So basically T, so Tn will have to be, you have to add the first one. So here we have m, we have to replace by T, because we're looking in terms of T here, in terms of T. So for first, that will be 2T plus part B, and n squared will be t squared. That will be in terms of t for the number of triangles in those diagrams. I hope that's kind of understanding how do you find this. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I will try to redo this again, but that should be pretty straightforward. That is part C, and that was question number 3. So let's move on to question number 4 now. A box of chocolates contains 10 milk chocolate and 2 plain chocolate. So a box, we have how much? We have 12, we have 10 milk and 2 plain. Okay, Sasha eats 3 chocolates chosen at random. So this is a tree diagram showing the outcomes. Okay, so let's see, we have to complete this one. As you can see, we have to do this. Okay, part 1, complete the tree diagram. So we have 2 plain. So if you choose plain, we will have milk has to be the same, which is 10 over 11, or it can be 1 over 11. Now if you choose milk right here, that will become 9 over 10, and that will become 1 over 10. And here if you choose plain, so milk, that will become stay the same, which is 10 over 10, and plain will become 0 over 11. Okay, so that will be your tree diagram. Now for part 2 is expressing each as simple as possible. Find the chance that Sasha eats 3 milk chocolate. So 3 has to be this, this, this. So let's write this down. That will be 10 over 12 times 9 over 11 times 8 over 10. Sorry. 12 times 9 over 11 times 8 over 10. That should be 6 over 11. Now for part B, he eats 2 milk and 1 plain in any order. So let's see, could be milk, milk, plain, could be milk, plain, milk, or it could be plain, milk, milk. Let's see if you have anything else. So that should be everything. Okay, so we have 3 possible orders. Let's try to write them. So milk, milk, plain. Milk, milk, plain will be this one. So 10 over 12 times 9 over 11 times 2 over 10 plus milk, plain, milk. So milk, plain, milk. So it should be the same thing, but let's just write this down if you want to. So milk, plain, and milk. And last one, plain, milk, milk, plain, milk, and times milk. Okay, so we have to add all these 3. But if you observe, these 3 are the same, so we can just find 1 and multiply by 3. So let's do that. 10 over 12 times 9 over 11 times 2 over 10 times 3. Because these 3 are the same, you will have 9 over 22 as your answer. That is your question part 4, and that was part B. Now let's move on to part B for this question. The frequency diagram shows the distribution of the number of letters received by a family each day over a 31-day period. This is number of days, and this is a number of letters. So part 1, for this distribution, find the mode of this diagram. So let's see. So where we have the maximum mode, as you can see, number of days is 8 for the max, and this is 1. So here you go. This is your mode. Your mode will be 1 because we have to look at the maximum and find the corresponding value of letters, W1. Now for the median, has to be the middle value. So we have 31 plus 1 divided by 2. That will be 32 divided by 2. That will be your 16th element. So where is the 16th day? So we have 6 days here plus 8, that will be 14, and plus 2, that will be 16. So 16, so plus 5, sorry, that is 6 day, plus 8, that will be 14, so it's 8 plus 6, 14 day. 16 day will be in this one, so your median will be 2. That will be your answer for part B. And I think that was question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5. So part 1, we have exchange rate of $1 into pounds is given to you. Eddie travels from USA to Germany. He changes $300 into euros. How many euros did he receive? So we have to use this to find that. So pretty easy. That will be $300 is equal to 300 times 0.72. That will be 216. So euros will be 216 euros. Now for part 2, when Eddie returns to the USA, he has 51 euros left that he exchanges for $75. What is the exchange rate has been used in this case? So let's see, we're trying to find how much is $1 worth in euros. So here we have $75 is equal to 51 euros. So $1 is equal to 51 divided by 75 euros. That will be what? 0.68. So your answer is 0.68. So that will be part 2. Now for part B, we have Greg buys 60 garden plants at a cost price of $2 each to sell to his shop. He sells 25 of them at a profit of 75%. Okay? And 18 of them at a profit of 35%. He sells the rest for the plants of 4/5 of the cost price. Part 1, calculate the profit or the loss he makes from selling the 60 plants. Okay, so let's see. So first thing, to find profit. To find profit, we have to find what is his revenue minus costs. So this one is the easiest to find. So the cost is pretty easy. It is from 60 plants, $2 is. So 60 times 2 will be 120, will be his cost. That is 120. Now we have to find his revenue. Now his revenue has been broken down into 3 parts. Well, we have this part, we have this part, and then we have this part. So 3 parts. So for the first part, as you can see, he sells 25 of them, so 25 of them at the 75% profit. So 75% profit will be 1/75% of the cost. Cost is $2. So let's do that. So what is 1/75%? Let's write this down. 25 plants at 175. So one thing here to explain is, why is it 175%? Because the initial cost was $2. So we consider initial cost to be 100%. Now when you make a profit, you have to add the price over this. So you add 75% when you make a profit, right? That will become 175%. That will be your selling price for part 1. That's how we get this number. So now, what is 175%? It is 175 divided by 100 times 2. So let's see how much he makes for part 1. 25 times 175 times divided by 100 times 2. That will be 87.5 for the first part. Now for part 2, it says it sells 18 of them at a profit of 35%. So same steps, 18 times, now it is 35, that will be 135% times $2. That was the cost. That will be 18 times 135 over 100 times 2. That will be 48.3. And for the third part, it says he sells the rest. So what is the rest? The rest will be 60 minus this minus this. 60 minus 25 minus 18. That will be 17 is the rest. He sold for 4/5 the price. So 4/5 will be 4/5 times the cost. Times 4/5 times 2. That will be 27 1 over 5. Now let's see what is his revenue. So we have to add this, this, and this. So revenue will be what? 87.5 plus 48 over 3 over 5 plus answer. That should be 163.3. That is his revenue. So in that case, to have the profit, go back to your equation. That will become profit is 163.3 minus 120. That will be 43.3. So Greg make a profit of 43.3. Now part 2 is calculate the percentage profit or loss. So he made a profit. Percentage profit will be 43.3 over initial cost. That will be 120 times 100 for the percentage. So 43.3 divided by 120 times 100. That should be 36.1%. That is your answer for part B. Now let's move on to question number 6. We have ABCD is a trapezium with BC parallel to AD. So BC is parallel to AD. So E is a point on AD such that BE is perpendicular to AD. As you can see, we have right angle triangles on both sides. So first question is to find the angle BAE. So BAE, so we have to find this angle. So pretty easy, because we have a right angle triangle, we can use SOHCAHTOA. So let's use SOHCAHTOA to find the angle. So K and TOA. So here we have this side, this will be your opposite side, so O. Here we have your adjacent side, so A and A. So we have to use tan. So tan of the angle A is equal to opposite side over adjacent. From this you will have A is equal to tan inverse of 18 over 7. That will be 68.7. So 68.7 degrees. Now next one is to find the area of trapezium ABCD. So we have ABCD. So how do you find the area of trapezium? You have to use your formula as always. You know that half sum of parallel sides. So that will be AD plus BC and times the perpendicular height, that will be 18. So AD we don't know, but we know BC is given to you by 9. So we have to find AD first. So how would you find the length of AD? So let's have a look. Here we have BED as your right angle triangle. We know this side, we have to find this side. So again, we have to use SOHCAHTOA to find ED. So AD is equal to AE plus ED. AE is 7, so we have to find this one. So we have to use SOHCAHTOA. And if you observe, we have what? We have the opposite side, we have to find this. We have to use tan. So tan of 55 will be 18 over ED, which means ED is equal to 18 over tan of 55. That will be 12.6. So ED will be 12.6 centimeters. So AD is equal to 19.6 centimeters. Now going back to your equation to find area of trapezium, that is equal to half of AD, that is 19.6, plus BC, that is 9, times 18. So let's solve 19.6 plus 9 times 18 divided by 2. That should be 257.4, but correct your 3SF, 257 will be your answer for the area of trapezium. Okay, that is part A. Let's move on to part B now. Let's see what we have here. So we have PQRS is another trapezium with PQR, PQR is 112, and then we have PRS as 41. Okay, each measured to the nearest degree. Now next one is find the smallest possible value of this one, of QRP, so for this angle. So how would you find this? Let's check. So what is known about trapezium? This one is another trapezium, but we have to find the smallest possible value. So let's first write this down to find the upper and lower bound of these two angles. So 41 plus minus nearest degree 1/2. Max will be 41.5. Min will be 40.5. Same thing for this one. 112 plus minus half. That will be 112.5 and 111.5. Now to find this angle, we have to use symmetry. So this angle is equal to this angle, which is 41. So not symmetry, but like these two are parallel to each other and these two are equal. So this is just your third angle of triangle. We have to do 180 minus these two. So to find the smallest possible value, we have to minus the maximum value of those two angles. So 112 max will be 112.5 plus 41.5 to find the smallest possible value. So 112.5 plus 41.5, 180 minus answer, that should be 26. So the smallest possible angle will be 26 degrees. Okay, that will be your answer. But now let's say this is just for you. How would you find the maximum possible angle? So you will do 180 minus the smallest possible. Smallest will be 40.5 plus 111.5. That will be 28. So the maximum possible angle will be 28, and this one is your smallest possible angle. So just a way for you to can understand how to find those values. And that will be question number 6. So let's move on to question number 8. So we have a match. Ben won this race in 998. Calvin won for this in this time. What is the difference in their average speeds? Give your answer in terms of meters per second. Correct to 2 decimal place. So how do you find average speed? You have to find distance over time, right? So let's do that. For the first one, let's use Ben. Distance of Ben was 100 over time of 9.98. That will be 10.02004. Now for Calvin, distance was 200 over 19.94. So 200 divided by 19.94, that should be 10.03009. Now you have to give your answer correct to 2 decimal place. So let's find the difference. So you have to minus. So let's do 10.03009 minus 10.02004. That will be 0.01005. So your answer correct to 2 decimal place will be 0.01. Okay, that is your answer. Correct to 2 decimal place. Now for part B, we have 2 cars each complete the journey of 120 km. The first car is driven at an average speed of x. Now the second car is driven at an average speed of 3 km faster than the first car. So which means it will be x plus 3. Okay. The first car takes 6 minutes longer to complete the journey. So this one is in minutes, but your speed has been given to you in terms of hours. So how do you convert minutes to hours? So as we know, minutes is, so 1 hour is 60 minutes. Now 6 minutes is 6 divided by 60, which is 1 over 10 hour. Okay, so write down an equation in terms of x and show it simplifies to this. So let's write down for one car. So for your first car, the distance is 120 and the speed is x. So time will be equal to what? Since we know speed is distance over time, time is distance 120 over speed. This is the first one. Now second car, distance is the same 120, but speed has changed to x plus 3, which means time is 120 divided by x plus 3. It says the first car takes 6 minutes longer, which means the time of the first car, which is 120 over x minus 120 over x plus 3, is supposed to give you 6 minutes. But here we have hours, convert 6 to hours, that'll be 1 over 10 hour. Now let's simplify this and show that this is equal to this. So first on this side we can find the LCM. That will be x times x plus 3. And then cross multiply, that will be 120 x plus 3 minus 120x equal to 1 over 10. Let's just cross multiply. You will have 120 times 10 plus 3 minus 120x equal to x squared plus 3x. Now let's simplify and see what happens. So here we have 12x plus 3600 minus this equal to x squared plus 3x. Now simplify, these two will be cancelled out. So you will have x squared plus 3x. We send this one over here, it becomes minus 3600 equal to 0. This is the same as this, so it is shown as required. Now for part 2 is we have to solve this equation, giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So A is 1, B is 3, C is minus 3600. So x is equal to minus b plus minus root of b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times a. So let's simplify. So what is 3 squared? Minus 4 times a times c. That should be this number. So x is equal to minus 3 plus minus root of 14409 divided by 2. So for the first value of x, that will be minus 3 minus root of 1449 over 2, or it can be x minus 3 plus 14409 divided by 2. Minus 3 minus root of answer divided by 2. Minus 61.5. X can be also minus 3 plus root of 14409 divided by 2. Can be 58.5. So minus 61.5 or 58.5. So part 3, how many minutes does the first car take to travel this? So time was 120 divided by x, which is 120 divided by this positive value. Let's see how much do we get. So 120 divided by answer, that should be 2.0506. So 2 hours is 60 minutes, so that will be 60 times 2, that will be 120, plus this one will be what? After minus 2 times 60, that will be 3 minutes. It will take 123 minutes. Okay, so just to recap what we do here, we break this down into 2 parts. So this is 2 hours, and this is the remaining decimal place. So 2 hours is equal to 120 minutes, and for this one, 0.0506, we have to multiply by 60. That will be about 3 minutes. So in total, it takes 120 plus 3, 123 minutes. And that will be your question number 7. Okay, let's move on to section B, question number 8. So usually in your test you just have to answer 4 questions, but right now we're going to do all of them. Okay, now we have f of x equal to this. Find f of minus 2, which means we have to replace the value of x by minus 2 in this equation. So f of minus 2 will be 4 times minus 2 minus 3 divided by 2. That will be minus 8 minus 3 over 2. Minus 11 over 2. That will be minus 5.5 as your answer. But you can always check what is minus 11 divided by 2. Okay, that will be your answer. Now for part 2 is to find f inverse. So first step is to let y equal to the f of x, which is 4x minus 3 over 2. Then we have to make x become the subject of formula. So cross multiply, you will have 2y equal to 4x minus 3. So 4x equal to 2y plus 3. Now from this you have x equal to 2y plus 3 divided by 4. So finally, f inverse, it is in terms of x. We have to change y to x, then we become 2x plus 3 divided by 4. Now for part 3 is find the value of g such that we have this. So pretty easy. F of x has been given to you by this, 4x minus 3 over 2. Replace 2g in x. You will have 4 times 2g minus 3 over 2 is supposed to give you g. That will be 8g minus 3 equal to 2g. So send this one over here, you become 6g equal to 3. G will be 1 over 2. So g is half for your answer. Part 3. Okay, that is part 8. Let's move on to part B now. So here we have BAD and CAE are straight lines, and BC is parallel to ED. These two are parallel. Now, what is the question? It says, describe fully the single transformation that maps ABC onto ADE. So ABC onto ADE. As you can see, it has to be an enlargement because the size changed from this to this. Now, let's look at this to find the ratios. It says BA is 1 and BD is 4, which means AD is 3. The ratio is 1 to 3, so it means that the scale is 3, minus 3, because it goes to the other direction. So let's write this down. So there will be an enlargement with scale factor minus 3 and center A. The reason why it is minus 3 is because if your center is here, the point B has been enlarged in the opposite direction of the center. It became right here. That's why it is minus 3. So same thing for C. C was changed from this point to this point, which is on the opposite side of A. So that's why it is scale of minus 3. And center is A. Okay, because A did not change, that will be your center. Now part B is we have to find the length of BA. So BA is this. To find the length, that will be modulus of 1 square plus 2 square. That will be root of 5. Now for part 3, find CD. So what is CD? CD will be this. So let's join this with your ruler and see what can we find. So CD. So let's see, what do we have here? We have ED has been given by 12 minus 3. Okay, and what else do we know? BA has been given to you by minus, so BA is minus, so 1 over minus 2. So BA is, this small part here is 1 minus 2. So now we have to find C going to D. So let's see how can we move to that point. So can we know what is the value of, so if you know this, we can find this. Okay, so let's write this down. So this will be 3 times of this. That will be 3 times will be 3 minus 6, because they're on the same line and the ratios is 1 to 3. If this is 1, this will be 3. This is this one. Now what else can we know? Can you know, if you know this, you can also know this. Because it has a scale factor of -3, what will be this one? It is in the same direction, and it must be 3 times less than this. So it will become, divide by 3, that will be 4 and -1. So BC will be 3 times less than this, 4 minus 1. Okay, so we know BC, we know BD. So BD is simply BA plus AD. That will be what? Let's check. That will be 4 and -8. So BD is 4 minus 8. Sorry, 4 minus 8, yeah, correct? So to find CD will be pretty easy. So C going to B, B going to D. So let's do that. CD is C going to B plus B going to D. So we know BC is 4 minus 1. So CB will be -4, 1. And plus BD will be 4 minus 8. So if you add those, that will become 0. And this will be -7. So CD will be 0 minus 7. So just to recap, to find BC, we just use the scale because we know the scale was -3. So it means that it is 3 times. So minus here is only direction. So minus is not really a negative sign. It just shows the direction of the enlargement. So you don't need to take that into account when finding this vector. So this one is 12 minus 3. It means that this one will be 3 times smaller than this one. So divide by 3, you will get BC, 4 minus 1. Now we have to find this one. So BA has been given to you by this. So to find BD, we have to find AD. AD is 3 times this, or you can use the ratio here. BD is 4 times BA, so times 4 you will have 4 minus 8. So you know BC, you know BD, you can find CD. CD will be C, B, B, D. As you can see here, you will have 0 minus 7. And for part 4 is F is the midpoint of BD. So where's BD? BD will be right here. Midpoint. We have to find EF. EF will be this one. So let's join that and see how can we find EF. So this will be this point. So EF. So first we know that F is the midpoint of BD, which means BF will be half of BD. That will be 2 and minus 4. That will be BD, which is the same as FD, because this will be half and this will be half. Now next thing, if you want to find EF, we have to move from E to D and D to F. So let's write this down. EF is equal to E2 going to D plus D going to F. ED has been given to you by 12 minus 3 plus DF. So we know FD is 2 minus 4. So DF will be minus 2, 4. That will be 10 and 1. So 10, 1 will be your answer for this one. And that will be your question number 8. Okay, let's move on to question number 9. Shape 1 is a cylinder with radius of 4 and height of h. The volume of shape 1 is this much. Find the value of h. So how do you find volume? Volume is pi r square h. That will be 1500 equal to pi. R square is 4 square and h. So h will be 1500 divided by 16 pi. That will be 29.8. Correct you 3SF. So your height will be 29.8 centimeters. Now for part 2, shape 1 is made by pouring liquid into a mold at the rate of 0.9 liters per minute. So what is 1 liter? It is 1000 centimeter cube. So 0.9 will be 900 centimeter cube per minute. Okay, so shape 1 was made by this. Okay, this is the rate. Find the number of seconds it would take to pour this into this mold. So pretty easy. Since the volume is given by 1500 centimeter cube, let's see how much time it would take. So 1 minute, which is 60 seconds, is this much from this rate, right? Which means 1500 is equal to 60 seconds divided by 900 times 1500. That will be 100 seconds. Okay, that will be your answer for part 2. Now for part B, shape 2 is a prism of length 8 and with a triangular cross section, as you can see. I think this is the shaded region. Okay, the two sides of the triangle are at right angle to each other. Okay, have this and this. Given that the shape 2 also have a volume of this, find the value of x. So how do you find volume of prism? So volume of prism, you found that by area of cross section times length, which is 8. So volume is the same as this. How do you find area of cross section? Cross section is only triangle. Half times base, which is 5x, and times height, which is 12x, times 8 is supposed to give you this value. So cross, that'll be 1, that'll be 4. So you will have 5 times 12 times 4, so 5 times 12 times 4, that'll be 240. So x squared is equal to 1500 divided by answer. That'll be 6.25. From this you will have x is equal to root of answer, that is 2.5. Value of x will be 2.5. That is your part B. And let's move on to part C. Now we have a shape number 3 is also a prism of length 8 with a triangular cross section shown here. So this is also a triangle, which is height and base. Now the two sides of the triangle are right angle, same thing as you can see, right angle here, and have length 5y and 12y. The third side of the length is 13y, which means this is 8, and which one is 13y? So this one is 13y. And so the third, satisfy this equation. Okay, so I think by doing the Pythagoras theorem, you will have this equation. So we have to factorize this. So let's see how can you factorize this. So 33, it is 3 times 11. So we have to factorize to get plus 16. So here we have this. So what is 4? 4 is 2 times 2. And here we have 11 and 3. So let's see if that works or not. So here we have 2 times 11, that will be 22, minus 6, that will be 16. So it works. So that will be plus 22 minus 6 to get plus 16. So your factorization will be like that. 2y minus 3 and 2y plus this. Now hence solve. Solve is to find the value of y. So you have to equate them to 0. That will become y is equal to 3 over 2 and y is equal to minus 11 over 2. So minus 5.5 or 1.5. Now for part 3, find the area of the triangle. So I think the part that we need to find will be this one. So how do you find the area of triangle? As you know by now, it is half times base times height. So half times base, it is 5y. Y will be 3 over 2. Times height will be 12, 3 over 2. Let's see what do we get. So answer is, so 3 over 2 is your answer. So half times 5 answer times 12 answer. That should be 67.5 1.5 centimeter square. Now for part this, find the total surface area of the shape 3. So let's count. What will be the surface area? So here we have one side. So we have the same side on the front and back. That will be 2 times this. And then here we have this side. That will be 8 times this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sides. So we have 5 areas to find. So the front and the back will be 2 times this. And then we have to find this one. This will be 13y times 8. So 13y, y is 1.5 times 8. Plus the base area will be 5y times 8. And then the back will be 12y times 8. Okay, let's solve this and find out what is the values that we can have. Okay, so we have 2 times 67.5 plus 13 times 1.5 plus 8 times 8 plus 5 times 1.5 times 8 plus 12 times 1.5 times 8. That should give you 495 as your area for the shape of 3. 495 centimeter square. So let's try again, because it can be easy to make mistakes. We have 2 times 67.5 plus 13 times 1.5 times 8 plus 5 times 1.5 times 8 plus 12 times 1.5 times 8. Okay, it seems that we have the right value. Good. Now for part 4, find the ratio of volume of shape 3 and volume of shape 2. So pretty easy, we can just replace. So what is the volume of shape 2? As you have seen, it was given to you by this value, 1500. Right, so 1500 is your volume of shape 2. Now how would you find volume of shape 3? You will find the area of cross section, which is this, times the length, which is 8. That will be 67.5 times 8. So 67.5 times 8 divided by 1500. That will be 9 over 25. Okay, so your ratio will be, your fraction, 9 over 25 will be your fraction in its simplest form. Okay, that will be your question number 9. Let's move on to question number 10. The tables show some values of x and the corresponding value for y for this equation. So let's find this table. So what is this y for x equal to minus 3? Replace x right here. So 6 divided by 9. That should be 0.67. Correct you, 2 decimal place as everything else. And this one will be same thing as well, 0.67. That is your table for part 1. Now for part 2, complete on the graph, so on the grid, draw this graph. So let's find the points and draw this together. So here we have minus 3 and 0.67. So here we have 0.2, 0.4 should be about here. And then we have minus 2.5, 96 should be about right here. And we have 2, 1.5 right in between. Then we have minus 1.5 will be 2.67, 2.4, 2.6 will be about here. And then we have minus 1, 6, and 1 will be 6. So what is the value for 0? We cannot divide by 0, so it's not possible. So x is here, we don't have this value, it's not possible to divide by 0. Okay. Now for this one is 1.5 will be the same, 2.67. So 2.67 will be about here. And then we have 2 will be 1.5. Then we have 2.5 will be 0.96. And then 3 will be 0.67. Sorry, this is 0.67, so 0.2, 0.4, 0.67 will be about here. So the first point is not good, it should be up. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 should be about here. Okay, so we have to connect the dots for these two. So it has to be something like this. So it has to reflect. Okay, something like this. Reflection on both sides. That will be your graph for this. Now, for part 3 is use a graph to find the values of x when y equal to 2. So pretty easy. Go to your graph and draw the line y equal to 2. It will be this line. And x will be where they intersect. So the first one will be about here, and this one will be about here. So the values of x could be minus 1 point, so this is 0.5, 0.7, 0.75. So minus 1.75, and this will be the same, so 1.75 as well. Now for the part 4, by drawing a tangent, find the gradient of the curve when x equal to 1.5. 1.5 will be about here. So let's draw a tangent to the curve at this point. It should be about here. So we find 2 points, 1 point on this side. Let's choose this point. That will be 2.30. And let's choose a point here that could be this one, 0.46. So to find the gradient, we can use your formula. So we have 2 points, 0.46 and 2.30. So gradient is equal to y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So 0 minus 4.6 divided by 2.3 minus 0.4. That should be minus 2.42, correct to 3SF. Now for part 5 is, by drawing a suitable line, solve this equation. But if you observe, this is y equal to 2 minus x, so we have to draw this line on the curve, on the grid. So let's find 2 points. So if x equal to 0, y is equal to, let's see, so x 0, y is equal to 2. Now if y is equal to 0, x is equal to 2. So we have 2 points, which is 0, 2, and 2, 0. Let's draw this graph. So we have this, and we have this. Okay, let's connect. Here we have, let me use a different color here. So that will be about right here. So this is your line, and they connect at one point only, at this point. So for me, it shows to be about minus 1.35. So x, according to my graph, it is minus 1.35. So your answer may be a bit different, and that is okay as well. As long as you show your work of how did you find your answer, you should be good. Always label your line. This is the line y equal to x, so it is 2 minus x. And this is your line y equal to 2. And this is your line y equal to 6 over x squared. Okay, that should be part 5. Now let's move on to part B. We have the graph shows a sketch of y equal to 5a power x. So we have 2 points, find the values of a and b. So let's do that. So let's use a point. So we have y equal to 5ax. Let's use the points 2 and 45. That will be x and y. Replace, you will have 45 equal to 5 a power 2. So you will have a squared is equal to 9. So a will be equal to square root of 9, which is 3. Now to find the value of b, here we have 4b, that is x and y. Replace back in your equation, you will have b is equal to 5 times a is 3, x is 4. So 5 times 3 power 4, that should give you 405. Okay, so a is given by 3, and that will be 45. Okay, so the reason why it's plus 3 is because, as you can see, the graph is only on the positive side on here. That will be why it's positive in this domain. Now for part 2 is find the coordinates of the point P where the graph crosses the y-axis. As you know, at y-axis, x is equal to 0. So you have y is equal to 5, a is 3, power 0, that is 5 times 1, it is 5. So y is 0. Sorry, x is 0, y is 5. So 0, 5 will be your answer for the point P. Now for point 3 is find the gradient of the straight line joining the point P and this point. So we have a point P, which is 0, 5, and we have a point which is 2, 45. So to find gradient, pretty easy. We have to use your formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 40 over 2 will be 20. 20 is your answer for part 3. And that will be question number 10. Now let's move on to question number 11. So here we have the scale diagram shows positions of A and B of two boats. We have A and B, as you can see, of the boats. Now the next thing you need to know is the scale is 1 to 50 meters. That's the scale given to you. Now we have to find the actual distance between the two boats according to your question number 1. Find the actual distance between the two boats. So let's measure first. What is distance between A and B on your drawing? So A and B, it shows to be about 10.3. Okay, so on the drawing, on my drawing, it shows to be about AB is 10.3 centimeters. So we have to use this scale to find the actual distance. So 1 centimeter is 50 meters. So 10.3 is equal to 50 times 10.3. So 50 times 10.3. That should be 515 meters. According to my drawing, your answer may be a bit different, but it should be about the same value. Okay. Now for part 2 is a third boat is positioned at C, such that AC is 350 meters and BC is 300 meters. So first let's convert back to your scale. So divide by 50, that will be 7 centimeters. 50, that will be 6 centimeters from those points. So find this point C. So pretty easy. First we have to measure from the point A, it is 7 centimeters. So let's go to point A and measure 7 centimeters on your compass. So that will be 7 is about this point. So go to your point A and draw an arc in this direction. Right, that is your first part. Now we have to go to your point B and draw an arc of radius 6 centimeters. So first you have to measure. So when you are having a locus question, make sure that your pencil is sharp, because the accuracy depends on how well you draw your locus. So make sure that your pencil is sharp when you draw these things. Now go to your point B, intersect the first arc. So this point here will be your point C. So let's join these two together to form the triangle. So we don't need to form, so okay, we don't need to connect them, so that is fine then. So as long as you label your point C, you're good to go. Now what's next is part 3. Measure the bearing of C from A. So how do you measure bearing? So let's connect them for now to find the bearing of C from A. So we have to find this angle of C from A. We have to find this angle. So you have to use your protractor because it says measure. So you have to measure the angle. So according to this is 140, 145, 146. So according to my measurements, it shows to be about 146 degrees. So your answer may be a bit different, but that's okay if you measure it properly. Now for part 4 is a fourth board positioned at D such that AC is the line of symmetry of the quad ABCD. Complete the quad ABCD. So now we have a fourth board which is at the point D. Next thing is such that AC is the line of symmetry of a quad ABCD. So we have point A here, we have point C. This is your line of symmetry, which means the distance of, so we have AD, this is B, and this is A. So if this is the line of symmetry, it means that B has to reflect exactly on this side. So exactly, it has to reflect for it to be a line of symmetry. So let's find that. So pretty easy actually. So in that case, to find the point D, it has to be exactly matching with this one, point B, right? Because it is a line of symmetry. So what is the position of point D? So we can measure this angle. So since we know that the bearing of C from A was 146, which means this angle was 146, so this has to be what? 180 minus 146, that will be 34. So 34. So basically, the other side has also to be 34 for the position of the point D. So let's measure the angle 34 degrees. Should be about 34 will be 0, 10, 20, 30, 34 will be just right here. Now, what length will be the line AD? So because it is a symmetry, this line is a symmetry, has to be exactly 10.3 from this line A. So 10.3 will be well. So let's measure that. So 10.3 will be about right here. So in that case, that will be your point D. Okay, that will be your point D that you need to show on how did you find this. So let's say you mentioned that was 34, and let's join these two as well to show how you found your line, your point D, and this was also 34. So in that case, as you can see, the line AC is the point of reflection between B and D, so that this is exactly your line of symmetry. But if you connect this, you don't have to, but just to show you, this is if you connect these 2 points, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4 sides will be a quadrilateral A, B, C, D with your line AC as your line of symmetry. Okay, that will be your point D. That is part A of the question. Now for part B, the diagram shows the positions of P, Q, R of 3 buoys. So P, Q, R. Now the bearing of Q from P is 54. We have these 3 length given to us. We have to find, first one is calculate the bearing of R from P. Of R from P, let's check what is that. So R from P will be, so we have to find this angle. So the way you find this angle is, if you look, we have a triangle PQR, we have this side, and this side. We have to use your cosine rule. So you say cos of the angle is equal to, we have these 2 sides, so 250 square plus 160 square minus 340 square, divide by 2 times 250 and 160. So let's see what it is. Divide by 2 times 250 times 160. So cos of theta is minus 0.34375. So this will be the angle. So cos inverse, that'll be 110.1 degrees. So your angle bearing of this from P is given to you by this angle, which is 54 plus this. So this plus 54, that should give you 164.1 degrees. That is the bearing. So just to explain, you first have to find this angle, and the bearing of R from P will be this angle, which is this plus this, right? Okay. Now for part 2 is calculate the area of triangle PQR. So PQR, to find the area, we can use the formula half of sine of the angle, which is this one, which was 110.1, times these two sides, which is 250 and 160. Should be about 18781.9. So let's write this down correct to 3SF. That should be about 18800 meters square. Okay, that will be your answer for part 2. And that is your question number 11. Let's move on to question number 12. So the distribution of the weights of luggage for 140 passengers is shown below. Now part 1 is calculate the estimate mean for the weight of the luggage. So pretty easy. Estimate mean, so mean has to be sum of fx divided by number of people, that will be 140. So f is just a frequency, as you can see here, f. And what is x? X is the midpoint of the groups. So let's find the midpoint. So 0 plus 6 divided by 2, that should be 3. And 6, so 6 plus 10 divided by 2, that should be 8. Same thing, that will be 12, 15, 17, 20, and that will be 20, because we have 8, that will be 26. You can check 2 plus 30 divided by 2, 26, right? This will be your values of x. So now you have to find fx is this times this. That will be 45. 14 times 8, that will be 112. That will be 240. 24 times 15, that should be 360. 31 times 17, that should be 527. 24 times 20, that should be 480. 12 times 26, 312. So we have to find the sum of fx, so you have to add everything together. So let's do that. So 45 plus 112 plus 240 plus 360 plus 527 plus 480 plus 312. That should be 2076 divided by 140. That should be 14.8, correct to 3SF for your mean estimate for those values. Now for part 3 is on the grid opposite, draw a histogram to represent this data. So to draw a histogram, you have to find the frequency density, which is frequency divided by class width. So what is the class width of each class? Let's check. Class width here will be 6 minus 0 is 6. That will be 4. 4, 2, 2. That will be 4 as well. That will be 8. That will be the class width. Now let's find the frequency density. Is class frequency divided by class width. So frequency is 15 divided by 6. That will be 2.5. 14 divided by 4, 3.5. Then you have 20 divided by 4. That should be 5. 24 divided by 2, 12. 31 divided by 2, that should be 15.5. and 24 divided by 4 will be 6, and this divided by 8, that should be 1.5. So this will be your frequency density for each group. As you can see here, we have from 0 till 30. So we have to draw the graph. So 0 till 30 has been given to you. You have to find the frequency density. So let's find that. So let's label the y-axis. As you can see, we have the max value is 15.5. Let's do that. So let's label this. So going back to here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can label this as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So for the first class, A is given to you by 0, 6, and the FT will be 2.5. So let's do this. 0, 6, 2.5 will be between 2 and 3. Right here. And then we have class 6 to 10. That will be 3.5. So 3.5 will be between 3 and 4, sorry. Okay, that is your other bar chart. And the next one will be 10 to 14, should be 5. 10 to 14, 5 is exactly right here. Next one will be 14 to 16, that will be 12. 14, 16 will be 12, will be this one. What's next? We have 16 to 18 should be 15.5. 16 to 18 should be 15.5, should be, well, that will be 15, 15.5, between those two. And then we have 18 to 22, that will be 6. 18 to 22 will be 6. 6 will be right here. And then finally 22 to 30, that should be 1.5. 1.5 is right here between. Okay, so that will be your bar chart. Sorry, your histogram. It looks more like this. That should be pretty easy. And from this, let's move on to the last question. Sorry, we have part 3 as well. I forgot. It says, estimate the chance that a passenger is chosen at random has luggage weighing less than 13 kg. So pretty easy. Less than 13, so 13 will be between this. So here we have 10 to 14. So we have a width of 4. 13 will be 3 of those. So let's count. Less than 13. So less than 10, we have this plus this. So let's count. 13 will be where? Will be. So this is 4. That will be distance of 3 and 1. So ratio will be 3 over 4 times 20. So let's do that. So 13 less than will be 15 plus 14. That is pretty easy. Then plus ratio of 3 over 4 times 20. All this divided by number of people, which is 140. Number of luggage, sorry. That is what? Let's check. We have 15 plus 14 plus 3 over 4 times 20 divided by 140. That should be 11 over 35 as your answer. Okay, so from this, let's move on to the next question. That is the last question. Part B. The pie chart represents the distribution of birthplaces of a group of 60 people. Now we have been given all this. So part 1. find the number of students in the group who were born in Australia. Australia was 54 degrees over 360 times 60. That will be 54 times 6, that will be 324. Now next one is calculate the percentage of students in the group who were born in South Africa. So pretty easy. 126 degrees over 360 times 140 percentage. So 126 divided by 360 times 100. That should be 35%. Now for part 3 is 4 more students joined the group. One of these, so of these 2 were born in Pakistan, and 1 in Singapore, and 1 in China. A new pie chart is to be drawn using the information about the whole group of students. So if we have if you add 4, then now the total number is 64. Okay. Now for this new pie chart, calculate the angle of this sector that represents students who were born in Pakistan. So we only care about the Pakistan one now. Pakistan was 90 degrees. So initially Pakistan has 90 degrees over 360 times 60. That was 90 times 6, that should be 540. Now it says 2 were added, so plus 2. So now we have 542 Pakistan people. No, sorry, that was bad option. So I think that I made a mistake here. So that would be 90 divided by 360 times 60. That should be 15. Sorry, 15 people. Plus 2, that should be 17 people. So now we have 17 Pakistan people. Right. Now, what is the angle of the new sector? That will be 17 divided by the new number of people will be 64 times 360 for the angle. 17 divided by 64 times 360. That should be 95.6. Now going back to question part 1, I think I made a mistake here. This should be 54 divided by 360 times 60. That should be 9 people, not this one because I made a mistake in calculation. This is 9, and that should give you 95.6. Okay, so that was the last question of this paper. As always, thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. And thank you for watching. I will see you soon.